Hi, I'm Pamela Oldham. I'm a journalist who lives in Round Rock ISD. From time to time, I film videos to keep residents informed. I served on Round Rock ISD's Strategic Refresh Committee, the 2018 Round Rock ISD Citizens Bond Committee, and the CBC District-wide Subcommittee. And along with some friends of mine in other organizations, I've watchdogged the district for more than 2 years. Many of you may be aware that despite considerable pushback from students, teachers, and community members last year, the Round Rock ISD's top administrators have continued to pursue establishing its own police department. In the coming days and weeks, you'll hear more about what's taken place so far on this highly controversial proposal. Today, though, I'm going to talk about an incident at Round Rock ISD's Westwood High School on April 3rd. Parents, teachers, students, and community members have been talking about the incident at Westwood since the day it occurred, all with the goal of finding out what happened. What has emerged is that the Round Rock ISD and Westwood haven't been completely forthcoming. It's what I'd call a transparency fail. Talk in the community had quieted down somewhat until an online article was published and began circulating. The article is an exclusive entitled, "Westwood High School Covers Up Shooting Incident." It's the work of a young journalist and was published yesterday on April 15th in an independent online media outlet called 7 Republic. No one seems to know if the author is a Westwood High School student. However, the article is heavily sourced and at the very least presents readers with the perspective of students who were interviewed for the story. The link to the article is in the comments below. It's definitely worth taking the time to read it. It's a good piece of reporting because the author, who is a high school senior, according to the bio on the website, interviewed multiple witnesses. The author includes evidence and analysis and illustrates his piece with photographic evidence as well as independent sources of information. It would be a mistake to dismiss this story because of the author's age or because the local mainstream media hasn't picked it up yet. Aside from the article I've mentioned, we know quite a bit about this incident. First and foremost, there are no reports that anyone was hurt or injured. So that's the good news. But we need to put this into context. The district's top officials have previously told the public that a district police department is needed because, in the possibility of an active shooter incident, an ISD-controlled police department would do a better job than existing county and city law enforcement personnel, including SROs, stationed at the schools. According to all reports, including those from law enforcement, Westwood was the active shooter incident that the district has hypothesized about over the past 2 or 3 years. While there is still much to learn about this incident, there are 3 key takeaways so far. Number 1, we now have a case study that strongly suggests that the district and the leaders in its schools are less than forthcoming and transparent about incidents when they happen. If the Board of Trustees puts district officials in charge of an ISD-controlled police department, one can only imagine how difficult it will be for parents, media, and the community to get the information they seek. Number 2, district officials have repeatedly stated that they need their own cops because it would take too long for Williamson County's sheriff's deputies to arrive on the scene should an incident occur. 25 or 30 or 45 minutes, according to one of the top district officials. Well, 2 Williamson County SROs assigned to Westwood were already on the scene when the school was locked down, reportedly at 1:16 p.m. on April 3rd. It's where they're stationed. According to an email received from Williamson County Sheriff Chody, his deputies and Texas DPS officers and the Austin Police Department responded to the call. Wilco responded with SWAT members and many others. And guess what? Their first backup units were the first backup units to arrive, and they arrived at 1:28, 12 minutes, not 25 or 30 or even 45. Number 3, we now have a real-life example that suggests the district will be less than forthcoming about incidents. During the incident, students were apparently given changing information. The threat is from the outside. The threat is from within. We're in lockdown, unless you need to be somewhere important. And later the message to everyone after the event was, there was never any threat or danger. So why were all those cops there? Changing the company line about the incident from one day to the next doesn't engender confidence and doesn't demonstrate transparency and accountability. Conflicting instructions and confusing narratives make students, staff, and parents less safe, not secure. The entire community, especially Westwood students, teachers, and parents, should voice their concern to Round Rock ISD board members. If you're a Westwood parent and you received the 2 letters that the young reporter referenced in his article and the letter that was just sent out to parents today, forward those letters to board members. Believe it or not, the board is trying to understand what went on at Westwood too. Ask that the board direct an independent investigation and that that report be made public. Demand that the district's newly hired Director of Safety and Security conduct a thorough post-mortem to determine what went right during this active shooter incident at Westwood and what went wrong, and report his findings to the board. We can't have another incident run in this fashion, and we don't want any more gaslighting. You should also know that according to numerous media reports, the parents at Parkland were kept in the dark about what actually took place at their school that led to the massacre there for months. Their school board and district officials reportedly refused to release information about the mass shooting that occurred there. There was speculation that the Florida School District didn't answer questions from the media or anybody else because it wanted to avoid potential liability and possible damage to its brand. It took an investigative team of reporters from the local newspaper, the Sentinel, 10 months of reporting to fully inform the public. Fully and accurately, I might add. Their report just won a Pulitzer yesterday. Go read it. The link is in the comments below. We are fortunate to have multiple highly trained and experienced career law enforcement officers protecting the children of our community from harm. They are to be congratulated for the work they do every day. Replacing them with officers who fall under the complete control of the ISD would be a waste of resources and a potentially fatal error.